Alright. Welcome in, guys. So, this is likely the first video you're seeing from me. My name is VamonosBrandon, also known as John Boy Media. Welcome in. Today, I felt like it would be a good idea to provide a good idea, kind of a groundwork for all of us to make videos off of. We got the Marathon Chip Mods tier list. So I actually tried my best. I went in game and I also checked a few forums. I'm fairly certain, aside from like one or two at most, that I have all of the chip mods in Season 2 on the board right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the chip mods. We're going to sort them S through D tier, and we're going to give a small explanation for why. We'll keep it moving real quickly. Side note, I am part of the marathon community. I love watching all of our creators, so shout out Staycation, Seraph, Mylan, Sir D, Demetrius, freaking Zilbrand. I watch all of you guys, so I'm just making this for the love of the game. Hopefully one of you guys will make a reaction, make your own list, something like that. So I'm gonna post the link. You guys can feel free to use this or add to it if you need to. Here we go. So Rorschach test. This is basically the new version of Stack Overflow. I know this was in last season, but it didn't quite. So I've been using this on Waster shotguns this season, and it hasn't done exactly what it says. So here's what it says. It says, while surrounded by hostiles, reloading overflows the magazine and increases stability and aim assist by a significant amount. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a complete and utter lie. D tier. I have been using this and it has not worked once. I have not seen the number 3 in my Waster shotgun one time. So D tier. Out of here with that. Buffer overflow. Precision downs and eliminations with this weapon grant a significant stack increase to reload speed. I actually really like the sound of that. Since it's only reload speed, I'm gonna go ahead and put it into B tier. I think this could be really useful on LMGs and other guns where you might have to reload for a longer duration or more often. Maybe like a Copperhead with the gold mod would be good for that. Pocket change. Reloading quickly after a kill or down drops a massive amount of ammo. So this is one of the few that is going to go into S tier right away. I am one of the people that uses this as often as I can find them, even the gray one. So all you do is after you get a kill, you do the Call of Duty reload where you finish the last 2 or 3 shots and you press X immediately. And your character will quite literally drop a few boxes of ammo behind them, of the ammo that's in your gun. And it is perfect for an impact HAR in cryo. Then we got circuit tracers. Eliminations with this weapon reload the magazine. So again, some of these you're gonna see they appear in blue color because I had the subpar versions of these because I actually use them constantly. So circuit tracers is just, it's gotta be another S tier. Yeah, that's just renowned in the community as one of the greatest. Hope they don't ever take that out of the game, because with the gold bully and certain other guns, it's just master. So then we go into, these are the 6 that I couldn't actually find in my inventory. We got alternating current, restore a significant amount of health or shields when damaging a target affected by an EMP. So this is really not that useful. I am playing triage all the time, and I've never quite been saved by it or anything like that. So, by that logic, C tier. Torch bug. Eliminating a hostile causes them to explode. This one's more of just a cool idea, but again, I've never really been saved by this feature. Bounty Hunter. Eliminating UESC pays you a small amount of credits. I'm gonna go ahead and put it B tier. I mean, I think the reason I don't have these in my inventory is because I put them on my pistols and my cheap guns just to kind of get a profitable run going. But ultimately, there's more creative ideas and other things we could be doing with our time. So that's very minimal effort. Cloudborne. While in smoke, reloading this weapon overflows the magazine. So again, now that we do not have stack overflow, some of these are going to come into people's like play styles a bit more. However, Cloudborne, I don't often play assassin and hide and smoke. So because this is initiated by smoke, um, you know what? We'll put it into B tier. I feel like that's fair because yeah, I think that could have a lot of use for certain playstyles, and I'm just being a hater. Insurrection. The weapon deals moderately increased damage against the UESC forces. So again, just like I said with the kills pay you money, this is just not imaginative. It doesn't really change the game whatsoever, and so I'm just not going to applaud something that's low effort. Um, there's also a similar one that helps you kill the compiler. I wasn't able to find that in the forums, but I know it's there. So there's a similar weapon mod to this that says weapon deals increased damage to the SFIT, or the compiler. And so just both are going to go into, what is that, C tier? Yeah, it's just not imaginative. It doesn't actually affect the game in such a heavy way. I could be wrong, and I don't know the actual mathematics behind how it fluctuates with the statistics, but I couldn't see that doing a crazy amount. Then we got ornithologist. Ornithologist. I see people saying this improperly. So it doesn't even have a description. Basically, when you shoot your gun, there is a distracting bird call. Um, Other than that, though, I've heard that this chip is one of the few that can add accuracy and range to guns. So, if you have a gun like maybe say the Magnum that has a pretty ridiculous damage fall off, this could be a useful thing. However, the basic premise that there's a distracting bird call is absolutely useless. Childish, not implemented correctly, trash. Back to a more positive one, we got Mini Jammer. While aiming down sights for a very short duration, you gain the Signal Jammer effect. This is immediately going into, well, actually, I'm going to take it back. The reason that this is going into A tier is because there is a Signal Jammer backpack in Season 2, and there's also still the item of Signal Jammer. So, although this is a very helpful tool, um, there's other ways to build into Signal Jammers, so we don't really have to pretend like that's S tier. Refocuser. Taking explosive damage grants this weapon increased ADS speed and aim assist. Okay, so I like the ADS spread and the aim assist, but I do not like the fact that it's brought on by taking explosive damage. Taking explosive damage. So because of the fact that it's brought on by taking explosive damage, I'm going to go ahead and put it into C tier. I don't like things that don't function in the game until I'm getting shit on. Sucker Punch. Considerably increase the damage of your next melee attack after dealing damage with this weapon. So this is kind of like the ode to Halo 3 and Halo 2. In Halo 2, you would be able to zap somebody's shield out, and you press B, and it's over. It's literally done. But now in Marathon, it's more of a break the shields, knife out attack. So, considerably increases your damage of your next melee attack. I could see this being helpful. However, it's just not, it doesn't have the oomph that I need. I need it to do exactly what Halo 3 does, where I just shoot somebody, I punch them, and it's done. To my knowledge, that's not how this changes the game to behave, and so not that impressed. We got Battle Runner. Eliminations with this weapon grant increased sprint speed for a significant duration. I'm gonna go ahead and put that A tier. I can see so many instances where this could really help you get out of a sticky situation. And ultimately, if it's just eliminations with the weapon and not precision eliminations, it's gonna activate a lot more frequently. We got Slip Protocol. While moving, this weapon's stability and accuracy increase by a significant amount. This is also going S tier. This is kind of just showing my personal bias, but a lot of these ones that are blue are literally from my inventory, and I keep the blue ones around because they do affect the game quite a bit. Blue Blood. Downing a hostile runner restores health. There's no way you could convince me that's not S tier. Urgent Care. Eliminations or downs with this weapon while missing health grants a stacking bonus to your self-repair speed. So, we've been talking about this one. I haven't found that it actually helps me because, so similar to the mini jammer, there is a backpack that does this that makes healing faster. And so I could see this being kind of a redundancy error where we're kind of having multiple items trying to affect us in the same way, and ultimately we're just not going to be doing anything with that. Swarm Directive. Precision eliminations with this weapon spawn a large amount of flechette seekers that heal you while damaging opponents. So I was just using this earlier in Cryo Archives, and I have to say it's got to be something like C tier. So the only problem is it's precision eliminations, and I get a lot of headshots, and it just does not activate as frequently as one would think. The flechettes are kind of cool. It's kind of keeps you busy, lots of noise in game, but ultimately, one, they don't heal you that much, and two, all it does is under your crosshair in the middle of the screen, like just about here, you just end up seeing the shields of the bots that you're attacking with your flechettes. It basically just adds to the clutter and the chaos without really giving you too much out of it. Insurance plan. While under the effects of a mechanics kit or OSD bug, defeating a hostile massively extends its duration. So let's just stop there. We are literally talking about mechanics kits and OSD bugs. That gets banished to its rightful place in the D tier. OSD bugs and mechanics kits are used for getting rid of problems. They're not used for preventing them. I don't constantly just have all of my statuses affected, and so just completely unnecessary. I use it more of like in the literal sense of the word to triage a problem. I don't use it as a preventative medicine. So, eh. Reckless behavior. Damage is increased while your shields are depleted. So, damage is increased while your shields are depleted. I'm going to stay consistent. I've said before, I don't like when things don't affect me the entire game and they are brought on by me having bad luck. For now, damage is increased while your shields are depleted. It just I'm gonna move it to A tier because that is just strong and I like how general it seems. It's just damage is increased while shields are depleted. So I take that back. I like that. Very constant, very consistent. Bits per second. Rapid precision hits temporarily increase stability and reload speed. So again, you can see my bias, but I personally use this on my purple M77 or blue M77, and it makes me so intensely annoying to fight because I hit almost every shot that you have to wall peek and constantly bob back and forth like a pro MLG player. Um, yeah, so that can just completely make you annoying to fight against. Eyes on Fire. Quickly after deactivation of a tactical or trade ability, eliminating a hostile grants a considerable amount of tactical and trade ability. So this, I just used B tier because in my head I'm thinking like there's three runners that this item is particularly useful for. So what comes to mind is Vandal, Destroyer, and Recon. Because for those three, you end up using your abilities and kind of spamming them as you play the game. However, for a character like, say, Assassin or Triage, you don't actually mash all of the abilities constantly. So in that instance where you're kind of thinking about not using all of the abilities constantly, this really isn't going to carry as much weight as other mods. However, if you're literally a recon in Cryo Archive, I think this immediately bumps up to S tier. Rocket Start. Eliminating a hostile shortly after sprinting grants you the effects of Cardio Kick. So this one, I've actually had some good luck with this, but still, we're going to keep it consistent. So I've been talking trash about OSD bugs, cardio kicks, and the likes. I'm gonna go ahead and put this into C tier, not even the bottom. Um, just because that actually does seem like it would be quite useful if you're already sprinting around. Then this could kind of go into a playstyle, especially on a map like Dire Marsh, where you don't really want to be caught lacking and running around the whole map. So this could come in handy. I could see that having its place here. Then we got Exit Buddy. Downing or killing an enemy grants you and nearby allies increased movement speed with their equipped weapons. So I personally hear people use this in Cryo Archive a lot. I've never found that it saves fights. I've never had a run where I'm about to throw the run and then, oh, increased sprint speed, that fixed everything. Let's be real, guys. Five Finger Discount. Eliminating UESC or downing runners with a melee or knife attack partially reloads this item. Again, you literally have to play like, say, Walla, bro, where you're shotgunning and then meleeing right after for this to take effect. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into C for the rest of us, okay? If you're literally Walla or one of the players that is extremely aggressive with the Miss Raya and can pull it off, I think that this is extremely, extremely good. But for the rest of us, you should be focusing on using your gun or using your knife, not necessarily doing both at the same time in a wild and chaotic fashion. Common enemy. Dealing damage to enemy combatants causes them to take a massive amount of increased damage from the team. There are only a few instances where this is not going to help. So I'm going to put it into A tier. Ghillie Suit. After crouching for a short duration, this weapon gains a massive increase to stability, range, and accuracy. So again, this kind of sounds like, let's see. So it sounds like bits per second. Rapid precision hits temporarily increase stability and reload speed, right? And then we got crouching increases stability, range, and accuracy. So I like them similar amounts. I think that this is going to go into, yeah, just right there with them, into the B tier. Because there's a lot of uses for this, like especially the LMG with the shield and stuff. I could see that being really useful if it's a gun that you're already crouching. You'll kind of laugh with me, but you'll notice that a lot of the LMG shield people don't both open the shield and crouch. So I'm having a kind of like, I suspect that going forward in the season and as people play the game more, they'll stop doing that. Probably put the chip mod on, focus on the shield, try to lock in better. Just a lot of newbie stuff I'm seeing nowadays. Opportunist. While shields are depleted, shots on hostile targets have a significant chance to return ammo to the magazine. So the only thing I don't like is while shields are depleted. I've been getting hung up on that before. It's hard for me to get past that. Endless Runner. While under the effects of Cardio Kick, eliminating hostiles with this weapon extends its duration by a massive amount. Unfortunately, I'm still unenthused. I do not care about Cardio Kick. My bad. If I played Vandal more frequently, um, you know, I might feel a bit differently about it, but ultimately what it is I use Cardio Kick when I'm about to make a horrible mistake and I can consciously tell that I'm nowhere near the final exfil and it's about to be a minute left. Like say you're getting out of complex, your buddy's looting the box up there and you have 40 seconds on the clock. If you have 40 seconds and you're looking for that little exit sign, you might need this endless runner. If that's not the case, then you don't need Endless Runner. D tier. Last resort. While you are overheated, non-precision damage is increased by a massive amount. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. So I just do not enjoy being overheated. Vandal and Destroyer again are the two where you constantly run into overheating because say you're doing the sprinted run for Destroyer or the slide. If you spam slide more than twice, you kind of run into overheating issues. Um, but to know that if you accidentally overheat yourself or if some idiot starts spamming heat grenades at you in cryo, that you have non-precision damage increased. It's pretty crazy actually. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into the A tier. Afterburner. Sliding with this weapon reloads a portion of the magazine and increases stability and accuracy. That just sounds great on paper, but I don't slide. I'm not a Call of Duty gremlin. If you look at my channel, I mean, there is a lot of Call of Duty footage on there, but I just do not do this sliding, slide canceling, the blah 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 blah. Not for me. Keyboard Warrior. Eliminations grant stacks of bonus accuracy and range for significant duration. So as you can tell, again, my bias is showing a bit, but I think on paper that that's exactly what somebody like me would want. Eliminations grant stacks of bonus accuracy and range. Like we said, I'm kind of one of those annoying people that will do the engagements at 100 meters, just so that if you have a Mizzy, I will still win. So that kind of goes along with my playstyle. Heatsink. Dealing sustained damage with this weapon reduces your generated heat. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd have to see some more to have a more valid opinion on this one. I'd want to know about how much heat we're talking about. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. My bad, boys. Dealing sustained damage with this weapon reduces your generated heat. Yeah, yeah. I just need to know more. Okay, so this is the one. If you have a Volt gun, if you have a Volt gun, you need to put a version of this onto your gun. That's just it. Next. Dealing a significant amount of sustained damage causes hostiles to drop random ammo. This one is kind of the last, and honestly the least. I mean, this is more annoying than anything else, okay? There's only, what, like 5 types of ammo in the game, and it will just never spit out the one that you want. This is often the chip mod that's on the V11 Punch from the Rook kit. Just atrocious how few times it'll come in and save you. So, there is my list. I'm going to go over S tier and D tier again and just kind of summarize what I think, give a few generalizations. Here we go. So as you can tell on my S tier, we've got quite a lot that have to do with ammo. So you got the pocket change and the circuit tracers. And then you got a lot that have to do with aim down sight time and aim down sight accuracy. So a lot of what I use in my version of the game, stacks of accuracy and range. You can kind of see in my head, I like to be able to engage at range. Like we said, if you look at the Fortnite gameplay, that's kind of the same thing. I just have a high-end graphics card and I like to be an absolute gremlin. And then with that, we put blue blood in there because restoring your health on downs is just crazy. And then I said these were the worst. We got Rorschach test because it needs to be updated so that it's more useful. We got ornithologist because it's just stupid. Insurance plan, again, mechanics kit and OS debugs. I don't need that extended, buddy. I don't need that extended. Exit buddy. Downing or killing an enemy grants you increased speed. Yeah, just so underwhelming. While under the effects of cardio kick, eliminating hostiles with this weapon extends duration. Yeah, I haven't found one I disagree with yet. So that's pretty much what I got. A lot of the A tier are things that are extremely useful but might have something that also does a similar function. So say if there's like a head or a leg implant that does a similar function, I'm not going to feel as crazy as putting it, um, let me say that again. I'm not going to feel as crazy about putting it on my gun weapon chip if I have an alternative that does the same function. Cool. Well, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully this is a good idea. Hopefully some of the other creators can hop in and kind of give their 2 cents. I'd expect somebody that does like a Vandal main, like maybe like Lucid or Walla, they would likely have these completely changed. So, I mean, honestly, it's a pretty good idea. So I'm gonna add the link. I'll share it around. We can see if it gains any traction. But like I said, my name's VamonosBrandon. On YouTube, it comes up as John Boy Media. Um, you know, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Hope this added something to the conversation, gave something some of the creators can kind of bounce off of and make their own videos. So, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks.